Hey guys, this is my third video for applying to university, and if you haven't seen my other two, I'll link them below. In the others I talked about choosing your course in universities and a little bit about UCAS as well. And in this video I'm going to sort of add on to that a little bit and go into how you can go about writing your personal statements for UCAS. So first of all, some other things that you might be interested in when choosing a university to apply to is what sort of occupations the graduates generally end up going into after they graduate. And there is a government website which sort of helps you compare loads of different things about universities, including graduate occupations afterwards. So if I find that, I'll try and link it below, but it is a government website and it's really helpful. So this is just to give you an idea of what sort of industry you might be able to go into straight after uni. Another thing you might want to look at is student life, and for some people it won't matter as much, but some people really they're interested in the community and how they can do lots of different things outside of their studies. So student life includes things like, I know people go partying a lot. If you like partying a lot, maybe a city university or one on campus where everyone can get together pretty easily. There's also communities such as societies. A university might have a lot of societies, but some might not. Some have really good sports facilities, some might not. So you might want to look into what is available to you as well at different unis. So that's really up to you. It depends on which university you're most interested in and whether your student life is an important aspect to you. Now I'm going to go on to the personal statements, and this is going to be pretty long. I wrote down a few notes, but I don't have any set idea. What you should first know is that personal statements, there is a limit to the number of characters you can use. So in UCAS they have a limit to a few thousand characters to, make it fair for everyone to write the same amount or less, And in the personal statement, what you usually do is you write about yourself and how you are interested in studying a degree and why you are suitable to study it. And this includes things like what motivates you to study and giving actual evidence to explain how you are best suited for the place at that uni compared to another student. So a lot of the time people put their own twists on their personal statements, including in their introduction or perhaps just an experience they went through. There isn't a set way to write a personal statement, and everyone's personal statement is different and they all have different approaches to them. To write my personal statement, I did quite a few drafts. You're not just going to write your personal statement 1, 2, 3 times and get it, done. It takes a lot of time. For me, I think I did about 9 drafts, and even then, at the last minute, I changed a few of the words. But it really depends, because because at my school we had different sort of teachers to go to help us with personal statements, and for mine we had to do loads of drafts because we were applying to Russell Group in Oxbridge. So I believe for other people they still did quite a few drafts, at least 5 drafts. I would assume that you do at least 5, and this just helps to perfect your personal statement. The first tips I'm going to give you is, do not write your personal statement in first person. Try and avoid it. Try and write your personal statement in third person. So instead of saying, I do this, and when I had this, and when I studied this, instead of using the word I, try and make it third person. So this would also reduce the amount of characters you use and make you sound a lot more sort of professional, mature, and makes you seem like you are sort of academic, I guess. So instead of saying, I was studying this last year and I really enjoyed it, you could say, when studying economics in the previous years, I found that. So you can still use I, but don't use it so many times. Try and keep it third person. It shortens your words, the amount of words that you use, and it makes you sound very clever. Something like that. It just doesn't make you seem as self-centered, I guess. I found it helpful, and my teacher advised us to do that as well. And for the personal statement, what people usually do is they include their extracurriculars, they include things that they enjoy in their studies, things they've done outside of their studies, and things that sort of explain why you are motivated to go into doing the degree that you're choosing. And you can set this out however you like, but it is best advised to keep your personal statement at least around 70% academics, 30% extracurricular. So extracurricular is very small in your personal statement. I'm not sure how many universities really mind extracurricular, but I don't think it matters too much to them. It's a great bonus. And of course, for some courses, extracurricular is really important. I'm sure that, I think medicine, you have to do a lot of work experience to show that you're really sort of well known about the industry and stuff. But for others, a lot of universities don't mind. It's just like a bonus. Definitely keep your personal statement focused on the degree that you're choosing because obviously you're applying, that's sort of your application to do the degree, so try and keep it focused on the subject. And to write my personal statement, I actually used a book to help me, and this was So You Want to Go to Oxbridge and Tell Me About a Banana. And this is just a book to help students applying to Oxbridge. They have a website. It's called oxbridgeapplications.com. Even if you're not applying to Oxbridge, I found this really helpful to writing my personal statement. And so I'm just going to find the section to show you. So this just sort of categorised what to write in each paragraph, and I use this as my base for my personal statement. And I found it very, very helpful. So obviously the first paragraph, I'm going to take some points from here. Your first paragraph will be your introduction, and this is just sort of starting your intro snappy, related to the subject, why it motivates you, what inspires you to study the subject. However, try and avoid cliches that are really cheesy, and a lot of people will use them. I'll use the one from the book. This one says, everyone wants to study history because the past informs the present, but why does that matter to you? So a lot of people would write that, I'm really interested in history because I enjoy looking at how to compare past and the future. But if everyone thinks that, what is it specifically to you? So try and keep it related to yourself and why you're interested in the degree. You can also use personal examples that sort of makes it more personal, your statement, and enables the admissions tutors to remember you. Everyone usually puts their own twist on it, either relating it to their personal life or just something that they find really interesting personally. For my one, I remember I started something really cheesy because mine was economics, and I find economics relates to everything. I wrote about being in a family of this many numbers. I realised that this is, and then I related it to economics, so I tried to keep it very, very economics based. In your second paragraph, you can write an honest account of the specific academic areas of interest you have and any extracurricular activities you've taken to explore the subject. Okay, for my second paragraph, I wrote about 2 books I read and related them to my subject because they were economics books, and I sort of explained what interested me about them in terms of economics. So if you've read books, you can do that, or you can just talk about what interests you in the subject, what sort of topics, and maybe what you've done extra to relate to it. So in my third paragraph I did that. I talked about work experience and related to economics and why it really drove me to want to do economics, and how my current studies sort of relate to the subject and really push me to really want to do it. So you can do that, and you should demonstrate your ability to analyse experiences and not just tell stories. So you should be able to explain everything as relating it to why you're motivated to do the subject. Not just saying, oh, I did this and I did this and I did that. Because, what is the point? Everyone does that. Most people will do that, so it doesn't really make you stand out. Here in your third paragraph, it says that you can shift your you can shift to the extracurriculars that are not directly related to your subjects. So you can talk about the ones that we relate to first, and then in the later paragraph talk a bit about extra things you do. So I talked about like young enterprise, the economy society I put in the others. I talked about being a senior prefect, form leader, stuff like that, but keep it very brief. I only left it for like 2 sentences. It wasn't long at all. It says in your 4th paragraph you can have a good conclusion, and so with the opening sentence you have to make it really good. You have to refer directly to what you have said in your statement without repeating it. So you have to build on the opening sentence, sort of like why it motivates you, and sort of close it really well and keep it related and balanced. You know, they also have some points at the back, at the end of this book, like some extra points. With a personal statement, I'd say make sure to keep it focused on your subject. You can put your own twist on it, you know, but for the first 3 paragraphs at least, keep it related to your subject. And then in the last one, like before your conclusion, you can just talk about extra things you do. But, you know, this personal statement is trying to get you in to study that degree, so keep it related to the subject for sure. Be honest, remember it's personal, so write what you want the reader to hear about you, not what you think they want to hear. So that's a really good tip actually. So remember to tell them everything you think is good about you, like your academic achievements and things. Keep emphasis on your academic interests, achievements and goals. So that's one point which I really had to focus on. Avoid overuse of superlatives. So it is believable that you are fascinated and committed, but not completely fascinated and utterly committed. So don't like exaggerate, because that just looks really, really silly. Don't try and sound arrogant in your personal statement at all. Try and keep it sort of neutral. Don't boast about yourself, but just sort of just explain what you've been doing and why it shows that you're really good. You don't have to say what you want to do after your degree. Don't just list things you've read. Never make a list in your personal statement. Always analyse things you've said and make sure they're good points. You don't have to put everything you've done in your personal statement. Just take out the bits and pieces which are sort of like stand out the most and make you look good. So don't write about everything. And try and make the personal statement as fluent as possible. So try and make it easy to read and make it flow. And this does take a few drafts, so don't worry about it. You'll get lots of help from your teachers, I'm sure. If you want some extra help, I don't mind maybe reading your personal statements if you mind, I don't know. You know, personal statement is your own, and don't worry too much about it. There's also a teacher's reference for every student, so your teacher will write about you as well. So make sure you're good in class. But they're never going to write bad things about you. Just make sure your personal statement really shows who you are in your own way, and just sort of, without boasting, let them know exactly why you want to study that subject and why you are best for it. Because if you really want to study the subject, I'm sure you've been doing lots already to help you on your journey. So I hope this has helped. To be honest, personal statements is really your own thing. No one in my school ever did them together. Sometimes we'd read one another's and give advice, but it is all your own and they're all different. So don't worry too much about it. I think I worry too much about it. It's not that big of a thing, honestly. So just try and just as long as you're happy with it, that's good enough. Good enough. So I'll talk to you guys later, and yeah, good luck.